So recently, me and this idiot went to Cedar Point. It was my fourth, fifth, something like that. I've been to this park almost every single year for like the last 6 years. And this was her first time going to the park. And Grace, what'd you think about the park?
Yeah, it was pretty good, but it could use a log flume. Maverick.
Anyways, we had a great time at the park. We got to ride almost every single roller coaster, with the exception of Wilderness Run, Pipe Scream, and Woodstock Express. So in our rankings, these will not be on our list.
So how this video is going to work is that we're going to go down the list of coasters in alphabetical order, and we're going to explain where we ranked them and show them on screen on each side.
Grace's list will be appearing on the left-hand side of the screen, whereas my list will be appearing on the right. You can see both of them completely blacked out now. As we talk about each coaster, it'll be revealed where it placed on each of our lists respectively. So we'll get to give our opinions on it, argue about it. It's going to be a grand old time.
So let's get to it. The first coaster on our list is an old wooden coaster from ancient times, also known as, wait, when did that thing open?
Like in the 60s?
64. So basically ancient times.
Yeah, it's an ancient being. It's like the eldritch god of Cedar Point.
So where you got this thing ranked? I have it ranked at number 11 out of 15.
You want to know where I have it ranked?
Yes, actually.
Number 11 out of 15.
See, yeah. The thing, I'd like to note that nothing at this park I dislike. I like everything at this park, and I would ride anything at this park over and over again. I love Blue Streak. I think it's super fun. I just think there's stuff that's better at the park. It was really fun. It even gave, sufficient airtime for youthousies. And it was blue.
Yeah, bitch looked like Megamind. And the thing is, this is a problem. Like, we were supposed to be disagreeing and arguing, but we're off to a very positive and loving and agreeable start here. Blue Streak is it's a cool family coaster. The only problem, I think, that I can give Blue Streak is its location. Like, the only reason anyone even gets on that ride is because they stumbled out of the exit of Valraven and were like, oh shit, there's another coaster here.
They stumbled out of the exit of Valraven and were like, wow, finally something that's not horrible.
Yeah, you can already see what she thinks of that. Next up, going off of alphabetical order, is which I have at number 14 out of 15. And you?
What the fuck? Mine's at 14 too.
Oh my god, why are we agreeing on this list?
Oh, we will disagree.
But yeah, Cedar Creek, even though it is second to last on my list, I don't even think it's a bad ride. The only ride I think is bad in this park is my number 15, and we'll get to that later.
Cedar Creek Mine Ride has a really intense helix at the end, and it also has a really good view of Top Thrill Dragster and some swamps. My favorite part was when I was sitting next to Jacob and they put the lap bar down to try and get it close to my lap, but his thighs are thicker than mine, so they just crushed him to death.
They tried to kill me. They don't want me to have children.
I thought it was funny. It's a pretty good ride, but nothing too special.
Yeah, it's just your average little Aero Mine Train. I've ridden some better Aero Mine Trains in the past, but I really like the setting over the water for this. That's a cool aspect to it, and I'm glad I got to ride it again.
I like the part where it slams you into the side of the train.
That's just every mine train, dear.
The next coaster on our list is, which is a very controversial coaster in the community because most people say it hurts, it's the worst coaster ever, but I actually have it at number 12.
Hey, we finally disagreed because I have it at 13.
Oh, yeah, what a great disagreement. I think this coaster does not hurt at all. In fact, the first airtime hill gives you ejector for no reason. There is no reason why it should do that, but it does. The only problem I have with it is that it's so short and I wish it was longer.
Yeah, so I actually used to have Corkscrew as one of my least favorite coasters of all time for the reasons you hear pretty frequently in the Thuzy community, which is it is a head-banging nightmare. And I think a lot of people rode this roller coaster at a young age and were like, hey, this is dog shit, I'm not going to ride it again. That's what I did. And then I had to re-ride it with this idiot because she was like, we need to ride Corkscrew. And I was like, okay, fine, I guess I'll give it another try. And what had happened in between that time and the last time I rode it is I'd grown like another 6 inches, so my head was actually higher than the restraints, which eliminated any headbanging I got, and it actually made it a fairly enjoyable ride.
Nowadays, you can just, hold on and you'll be fine, and it'll actually be a fun experience, unless you're one of those boring enthusiasts who calls everything forceless and boring.
I don't think anyone's saying this thing's forceless, though. I think most people have the opposite problem. Anyways, that'll take us on to our next coaster for this list, which is which we almost didn't get to ride, by the way. It was actually closed when we went for the first day because of its chain lift accident. If you didn't hear about that, the chain lift just decided it was going to say fuck you and broke.
We do a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling.
But funnily enough, on the second day of our trip, it reopened, and we were like, okay. So where did you put Gatekeeper?
I fucking hate Gatekeeper. 13.
So why do you... I'm going to say my placement's a lot higher. I put it at 7, which is like middle of the pack.
Stupid opinion.
So why did you hate Gatekeeper so much?
The restraints bully me. The only reason it's above Cedar Creek Mine Ride is because it's more interesting, and you go through the things and it's really smooth, and you go through the holes and you do the turny thing and you go upside down, and those are all, there's probably names for all those elements,
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to elaborate on the turny thing?
the swirly thing.
Are you talking about the fucking helix?
There's a helix, yeah, that one. And but the best restraints suck. This thing digs into my fucking hips and smashes my collarbones. I guess I'm just not a wing coaster person.
I honestly don't have a ton to say about Gatekeeper. As you can see from my list, it's on the middle of the pack. I certainly didn't have any marks on my shoulders or thighs, and I think this whole B&M vest restraint hurting thing is a massive conspiracy made up by Grace and her bony shoulders. I can say some highlights of the ride for me were the wing overdrop.
Is that the twisty down thing?
And the majority of the ride is just inversion after inversion after inversion.
It's a great ride, it's just the restraints that kill it for me. So I definitely still recommend this to other people. Our next coaster is good old, but it wasn't racing when I rode it, so it was alright. I have it at number 9 because it was pretty fun and kind of intense.
Guess where I have it.
9 too?
Yep.
I guess we agree. Well, yeah, there's not much to say about this. I mean, it wasn't racing. I bet I'd like it better if it was racing.
All right, I'm gonna say it because someone needs to. This should have been removed instead of Wicked Twister. I'm sorry, you're gonna find out later on this list. I'm a Wicked Twister stan. What can I say? Maybe I have bad blood in me. Maybe I'm just built different. I don't know. But Wicked Twister slaps. And, Gemini, it's still pretty good. I have it at number 9. But I rode those two back to back, and Wicked Twister was simply better.
You know what? I agree with you. I am also a Wicked Twister stan. And I think that if one of the two had to be removed, it wouldn't be the big yellow swirly spike that they chose to remove. That coaster's fun.
We're a little bit salty about which coaster they chose to remove. I'll talk more about that when we get down to Wicked Twister. But I think Gemini is just an okay ride.
So our next coaster on the list is... And all I have to say about that is that it was really fun, but there's a certain defunct one that I liked a little bit better. I have it at number 10, right behind Gemini.
I actually had this one a little lower. I have it at number 12. And fun fact, Grace and I both rode Big Bad Wolf as our first ever roller coaster. And I just gotta say, Big Bad Wolf ruined my experience with suspended coasters. Because now every time I ride one, I'm like, shit, Big Bad Wolf was like 10 times better. And that's especially apparent to me with Iron Dragon.
Alright, I gotta go on a tangent here. Just because a coaster you rode is better doesn't mean the other one is ruined. Iron Dragon is a great ride. It's not forceless. It's really smooth. It's super fun. It goes over water. There's lots of trees around it. It has great views of the rest of the park. And even though it's not Big Bad Wolf, it's still a great ride. And just because you rode a better ride, it doesn't ruin it. And you're stupid for thinking it does.
Okay, so with that in consideration, I'm actually going to move it down to 13. I'm moving Corkscrew up to 12. Fuck this ride. It's boring, and I'm not really a fan.
No!
Okay, real talk, it's actually not terrible. But I guess just compared to the other suspendeds I've ridden, it's by far the weakest. And I don't really think it ever gets intense enough to be super enjoyable or take full advantage of, having the swinging cars.
As you can see, Jacob has descended into enthusiasm where he can't enjoy perfectly fine rides because he's ridden much better ones.
Okay, but Big Bad Wolf is better, and you and I both know that.
Yes!
Anyways, that'll take us into... which
Woo!
I am not the biggest fan of. I have it at number 10 on my list, and I've gone through every shades of grief with this coaster. I used to love this thing when I was a kid. I thought it was one of the best rides in the park. It was my favorite hyper coaster for a while, and then it started beating the living shit out of me. I'm sure you all have heard people talk about how the Triangle Hills on Magnum just absolutely murder some people, and I was one of those people, and I started hating it. Rewrote it this time and thought it was just okay, which is why I have it at number 10.
Don't look up the name without the 200. Oh yeah, I gotta talk about the ride, yeah. So, as you can see, Jacob did not have an enjoyable experience because he has weak bones and a weak body structure.
Didn't you just bitch about the vest restraints for like 20 minutes?
But the vest restraints suck. This thing digs into my fucking hips and smashes my collarbones. Shut the fuck up your mouth.
Uh-huh.
As I was saying, Magnum XL 200 doesn't hurt at all, and it's very fun. The only reason that I have it at number 8 is because it's good, but it's not amazing, and it was running kind of slow, and I wish it could have gone faster because then I could have actually felt the force of the bar on my legs. That pain is my pleasure. This is why I am destined to always succumb to pain, as my masochistic journey is complete once my collarbones are burned off.
Honey, this is a Cedar Point ranking video.
I'm done.
You want to segue into Maverick off of that?
Our next coaster is...
Hey, finally, this is finally a coaster that I really, really, really enjoy at this park. So my placement here is going to be a little controversial for some people, especially when you see what's around it, but I put Maverick at number 4.
How is that controversial?
Because most people think it's top 2.
Oh, well then I guess mine's controversial too, because mine's at 3.
Right, there you go, that's a little higher. I'm actually surprised you had it higher than me, because before this trip, I actually had it as my number 2.
I love Maverick. It's so fast and whippy, and I like the what are the turns called?
The S-bends?
The things that feel like I-305. That's my favorite part other than the launch, because the launch is really good. You know which one I'm talking about. Great ride. Amazing ride. I had fun.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree. I don't know why I didn't enjoy it as much this time, because I love the first drop. Beyond Vertical Drops always managed to give me a hard on. Love those. I love the ejector air time. I love the intensity. I love the launch. I guess it's just this ride. I felt like it was trying to kill me, but not in a good way when compared to some of the other rides in the park. And B, I just don't think there's as much there for me. Like, there are elements on Maverick that I really, really enjoy, but the stuff in between is just not it for me. It's not boring, but it's just not full balls-to-wall action like Steel Vengeance or Top Thrill Dragster from start to end, and I think that's why it's a little lower for me.
As you can see, a man descends into enthusiasm and can enjoy a fantastic ride because some rides are better.
Bitch, I put it at number 4. What do you want from me?
Shut up your mouth.
That'll lead us into the coaster that I have directly above Maverick, which is my number 3 at the park.
This coaster is really good. I like it because it's blue.
Well, thank you for that astute analysis, Grace. I like Millennium a lot, and it actually went way up for me on this trip. Before I had it below Maverick, but this time Millennium just hit right for me. The first drop, incredible. I'm one of the people that grays out on the first overbank, and didn't you gray out as well?
Only a little bit, not as much as I grayed out on the bottom of the I-305 turn.
The I-305 turn is its own fucking beast. But my point is, I gotta say it, this ride is not forceless. What fucking idiot came up with that?
Yeah, this ride's not forceless at all. No coaster's forceless, but this one is especially forceful. That big camelback that everyone says provides no airtime provides very nice floater.
I absolutely agree. Every single hill on that ride gave me airtime on every single ride I did. And then, like I said, I grayed out on the overbank, so it's hitting right in the positives and the negatives. I don't understand the people that called this forceless, and I think they are possibly brain dead. They might need help. They might need therapy. They might need medication. They might need a bullet in the head. I don't know how we treat these people. Okay, so that's the one bad thing about the ride.
It has a cool soundtrack.
No, I can't listen to the soundtrack. You could lock a man in a room and just play that shit on repeat. You could get Kim Jong-un to admit every North Korean secret if you did that.
You know what else is good about Millennium Force? It has 2 caves. Also, Millennium Force can be shortened to MILF. Our next coaster is...
You know, you sound so excited for it, but I literally just heard you talk about how you moved it down significantly on your list.
No, I love Raptor. Raptor is number 4, but it's amazing. It's so good. Unlike Jacob, I can enjoy fantastic rides even when other rides are better. But the only reason it's not higher is because it's not intense enough for me. Everyone told me that the double helix ripped your legs off, but it didn't. But I love it because I love inverts. They're my favorite model. And it's green.
So, first of all, Raptor does rip your legs off at the end. I don't know how the fuck you did not feel that, but I think Raptor's end helix is one of the most intense elements on any coaster I've ever ridden. Every single time it feels like my legs are being put through that one fucking saw trap where his legs are literally being ripped like bone from bone. And B, despite Grace saying I'm not able to enjoy other coasters because I think others are better, I actually have Raptor at number 5, so it is still very high. I actually do agree with you though. I think it's kind of disappointing in comparison to other inverts, but I still think Raptor's a really, really solid ride.
I see a lot of people putting Raptor at the bottom of their Cedar Point lists, and they're wrong! They just need to be better.
I really don't understand how people put Raptor as like one of the bottom B&Ms, because for me, Raptor has always been by far my favorite B&M at this park.
Oh, this ride rattles!
Alright. Speaking of rattling and B&Ms and how the Cedar Point B&M should be ranked, let's talk about... Rougarou is garbage. It is the one roller coaster in the park that I will actually say I hate. I mean, okay, if it's not obvious, it's my number 15. But before I tell you why, Grace, where did you put Rougarou?
I love Rougarou. It's my favorite floorless. I just rode Dominator last weekend and it had nothing on Rougarou. Rougarou is way more intense. That's why Rougarou is at number 6. And it's orange.
Okay, if headbanging had a picture in the dictionary, it would be Rougarou. Rougarou just makes my head feel like it has been in a fucking milkshake machine for the past 20 minutes. It got to the point where, first of all, showing the picture on screen now, here's Grace and I on Rougarou. You can just see, this is like the duality of man. This is yin and yang right here. I cannot stand this coaster. The last time I rode it, I had to take like a 15-minute break because it made my head feel like bees were swarming around and stinging the insides of my ears. I don't like Rougarou.
You're riding it wrong.
What do you mean learn to ride better?
Well, I'm sorry that you can't control the position of your head on a ride that doesn't headbang at all.
Alright. Fellas, if you've ever had headbanging on Rougarou, please tell us in the comments. We need to settle this debate, because she's wrong. I know she's wrong. It's not even a debate. She's just factually incorrect.
Please don't validate him. He doesn't deserve it. He's mean to me.
What do you mean? Who's been bullying who this whole video? This is an abusive relationship. She abuses me more than Rougarou does. I hate Rougarou. So let's talk about something I like, which is... Going from the bottom of my list all the way up to number 1, basic bitch Thuzy opinion, Steel Vengeance is number 1. You can't convince me otherwise. Where do you have it at, Grace?
I have it at number 1 on the Cedar Point list, but I'd like to mention that it's in my top 10, but not number 1 on my main list.
Yeah, so we all know you have a disability when it comes to ranking coasters, but we both agree it's really good, and that's the point.
It has cool inversions, and... it's brown.
Everyone here who has ridden it knows why it's good and knows why it should be number 1.
Well,
except, okay, I gotta rant. Sorry to cut you off, but I gotta rant. Their locker systems are
oh my god.
pain
oh my god.
in the ass.
Oh my god. They are the worst. They literally made him go blind because he didn't have a strap for his glasses. To be fair, you should buy a strap for your glasses. But on Twisted Timbers, they let you bring the phone in the queue, but not on the ride. They don't even let you do that on this ride. They just have metal detectors everywhere, 3 security guards out front, and the lockers actually sold out around the ride because everyone was trying to put their things in a locker. It was horrible.
I get sick when I don't have my glasses on because I start getting a headache and then I get nauseous because my eyesight is the equivalent of a dying cat that's just been struck by a car. It's not good. I was dead by the end of the ride. And it's like the security on that ride is equivalent to a Universal ride, which is already probably better than like the fucking Pentagon security. If you've ever gone through Steve, you go through 2 sets of metal detectors. They got people waving you with the wands. The TSA could pick up from what Steel Vengeance is laying down. Steve itself, fantastic ride. Number 1. Don't even need to talk about it.
It's super long, and it's extremely smooth, and every element sucks you out of your seat with only a lap bar. Amazing ride.
You know what else is an amazing ride, Grace?
You?
You know what else is a good ride, Grace?
What? I love that ride.
A Top Thrill Dragster is my number 2, and that's for one simple reason. Hydraulic launches are like meth for me. From the second I had my hydraulic cherry popped on Stormrunner, I believe, I was hooked. And Top Thrill has the best launch out of any of those. It is insane.
It's my number 2 as well for the same reason. I couldn't keep my eyes open, and in the front row, it's especially good. Also, it's really tall, and that's the cool part. You go up so high, and you go and you tell everyone, whoa. I went on a coaster that was the weed number feet high.
Grace, you want to know what else is cool about this coaster? If you take a photo of it from a certain angle, it kind of looks like an Among Us.
Among Us coaster.
It's the 3rd fastest coaster in the world, 2nd tallest. And it's an experience. Everybody who goes to Cedar Point should definitely hit this thing up because it is insane.
I agree with you there. Unfortunately, since we've already gone through the best coasters in the park, now we can talk about... It's a really nice word, but it's not a nice coaster. I have Valraven at number 15 because it hurts me. And because they leave you in the station for so long.
Alright, I will say when we went, Valraven's operations were in the toilet. I don't know what was up with that. We were waiting 3 minutes in between trains. It was actually insane. But you hate Valraven. I have it at number 8. I think Valraven's pretty solid. One thing that really stood out about it to me was its 0 G-roll. I think that thing's insane and gives great hang time. I love that.
The problem with dive coasters is that they're really short. Once you drop, you just have a few elements and then you're done. And combined with the pain I feel with the restraints, it's not a fun ride. But for real, these operations, the ride-ups were extremely fast. They came in and checked our restraints super fast, but then they just kind of let us sit there. I don't know why. It seemed like they did that for every train for no reason, and I was confused.
One more thing I want to mention about dive coasters in general is... I think it's really funny how we all shit on Goliath mid-course and how slow it takes it, but then these dive coasters be here doing the exact same shit, yo.
Oh my god, yeah.
Anyways, our final coaster for this video...
Yellow swirly spike.
Yep, is... And you know what? I'm gonna finish that rant I mentioned earlier. It's my number 6. Where do you have it, Grace?
I have it at number 7 because it's really good and fun, and y'all should miss it.
And yeah, you know what? Yet again, it should have been Gemini. Gemini should have been the one that got Thanos snapped out of existence, not Wicked Twister. Maybe I'm a little biased because launches are my favorite elements on coasters. It's like I mentioned with Top Thrill.
I like it because LIMs sound like they're screaming. You go so far up the yellow spike, and the launch is so strong, and it's fast and amazing. Very smooth ride, too. Just an all-around, really fun coaster.
And yeah, it's obviously not the best in the park, but I don't understand how so many people are just absolutely shitting on it. It's a 70-mile-an-hour launch for starters. Pretty sure it's a hyper coaster, and you go up pretty damn high on those spikes, especially if you're in the front or back row, dude. You go up so high on those spikes. And it's just such a cool feeling to twist there and then be weightless at the top of the spikes and just look down and it's just a giant spiral. I don't know. I guess I just see something in it that no one else does, or only me and Grace do.
We weren't even sitting in the back row, and I still enjoyed it greatly. Also, it's yellow. And with that, that's all our coasters ranked. Some hot takes and some pretty normal takes like Steel...
Sorry, fuck Ruger.
Some pretty normal takes like Steel Vengeance. But that's it.
Fuck Ruger.
Till next time.
Goodbye.